Hello folks, just a quick review of all the swings and trades I had open that I've closed and positions that I'm in now that are new, and also one loss that I took. So GLW, I was in for quite a while. I think this was a 12-hour rider when I entered it, and you can see this red line. That's the entry I got in there on that day. I bought that dip, sat through all this chop and balance. I actually had another opportunity to get long here, which I probably should have taken in hindsight, but I didn't, because this is a beautiful sideways consolidation, and then look at that breakout. So this morning, pre-market, I actually took profit before this big move today, which is disappointing, but my reasoning for taking that profit is I was watching price down here on this time frame, seeing that we're basically an hourly EMA 12 rider. This is the 30, but the hourly fit it well. Here, I'll show you what that looks like. 1 hour. So yeah, it was riding hourly EMA 12, sort of a solid move up. But I was looking at this and thinking about how far away are we from the moving average that I'm riding? And in the past, when it's made big moves up, how far away did it get? And just sort of doing that exercise of like measuring, okay, well, the last time we went up really high, it was this high. And then over here, it didn't even get that high. And over here, it didn't get that high. And in hindsight now, look where it got. Today's high is basically that. So whatever, in the pre-market, we were gapping up over yesterday's high. So up here in pre-market, I actually sold my runner and then didn't catch this last leg of this. Well, I don't know if it's the last leg, but I didn't catch the most recent leg of this move up. I just took my profit and called that the end of the trade. Okay, so that's GLW. NEE I also got out of today. This one was a daily rider. So my entry for NEE was again on the daily EMA 12 rider. So you can see it's had these beautiful touches. When it gives those opportunities, it's kind of money in the bank. So here on this day, you know, I was actually so doubtful of this trade working that I was considering not doing it. And then Tiffany bought, what was her price? 90.67, right down there. Tiffany bought 90.67, and I was like, whoa, I'm pretty sure she just nailed that bottom. And I chased it a bit. Mine was higher. It was 9, I can't remember what it was. It was somewhere in here, though. I think it might have been on that. I don't want to say what it was because I can't remember. 90.80 something, I think it was. Anyway, so not as good as Tiffany. But then this thing just went. And I did the same thing this morning that I did with GLW, where I was measuring how high has this thing gotten when it gets extended, you know, from the moving average. There was the last one. And this morning pre-market, we were there. We had sort of gapped up in the after hours, and then we were coming down in pre-market. And I was like, oh, I bet we get a decent pull-in. So I thought, I'll take a portion off. I'd said to myself, if we gap up, I'll take a portion off. And we were gapping up and then coming in, which wasn't a great sign to me because I just kind of figured that if we're coming in at, like, maybe you can't read too much into this stuff, but either way, I took a half off basically at pre-market this morning. And then on the morning balance, this was a stupid thing in hindsight. So we had this balance here. I think it was down on the 1 minute. 1 minute time frame is not the right time frame to make trade decisions. To take profit decisions. Anyway, we had this low set, a lower high, higher low, lower high, and then broke that down. So my remaining position, I stopped out right there at 90.45 or 94.45. And now it went and swept the low of prior day, stopped out those people, and now is moving back up. Again, so I'm all out of this trade now. It was a winner, nice, solid win. Trade that took place for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. On the 6th day, I got out. And I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, you know, by the numbers, 4-hour high or low is set. It could absolutely keep going from here. If it doesn't, we'll see what happens, right? But this does look a little bit toppy to me. You know, I could see this doing that, but like, you know, you don't want to read too much into it. That's me just like trying to not feel bad about the fact that I got out of this trade and it's not rolling over the instant I got out. Either way, it's a great trade. So I'm just going to stop there. That's that. Other trades that are still going, Google is still going. I bought this way down here, and I'm still in that. I'm looking for more of a bounce here on the daily, ideally. I think this just set a daily higher low. It's not really having any follow through on a day when the rest of the market is crazy strong. Look at QQQ today, boom. So that's pretty disappointing show for Google. I'll probably move my stop up to this daily higher low here and just let it stop me out. Otherwise, I'll try to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like, we'll see. I think NVIDIA earnings tonight are going to decide what happens here or not. Anyway, so that happened. It's still going. TAN just finished, which was a win. But this one, so I took this yesterday, and again, this was a daily EMA 12 rider. Tested it here, tested it again yesterday, and this was a solid win yesterday. And I didn't sell any. I just got risk free, and then I didn't sell any into the highs yesterday, which I should have, because it tested this high, right? And so now we're in like a tightening range. And I didn't realize this is an ETF. I knew that, but I didn't realize that there were earnings on FSLR last night, and it dumped. And so that dragged TAN down. And in the after hours here, I could have sold. I didn't. I held into the overnight. We had this dip in the morning. I held through the whole thing. I didn't sell through all this. I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. And I put my stop at low of day here. And it just stopped me out to the penny, I think. And so that's that. I'm like pretty much done with this for now. It's basically, you could be trying to buy it right here, but I didn't. I just stopped out, and that's fine. I see a whole bunch of rotation happening today, and we'll see, with NVIDIA earnings tonight, if that rotation is going to continue or not. If NVIDIA has a strong reaction, and then tomorrow day, if we get say we get a strong reaction overnight, and then tomorrow day we open, as long as they don't dump it in the morning, I think that this rotation into software and tech could be real. And so, if that's the case, then a bunch of these longs that I've been trying to go for are kind of up in the air. So some of the things that have been riding moving averages might stop their riding of the moving averages. So for example, XLE, which we'll talk about one of those trades in a minute, might need a rest. And so I'm just like a little bit cautious. So trades I took today, RTX, this was the main one that I took today. And you can see here what I did. First of all, just zoom out to the weekly. This is a weekly EMA 12 rider, and it's been chopping around sideways. On the daily time frame, it's been in this balance. And when it came in here and didn't get to the rider and then bounced, and it basically undercut the low from this day back here and then rallied, I saw that rally and I was like, oh man, why didn't I get that? I felt dumb for not trying, because undercut and rallies have been working in this market. Then we go up, we do an overshoot and reject. And so on the day that this rejected, right here on the close of that day, I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if it came all the way back in, tested the weekly EMA 12 and bounced? And that happened today. And so today when we got the flush off the open, you can see it opened way up here, flushed hard. If you go to the 1 minute time frame, this thing was insane. It wasn't even a 1 minute rider. It was like a 30-second rider all the way down. Had a decent bounce off the lows here. And I must confess, I tried this a couple times and didn't get it going over here. And what I was really waiting for was another undercut. So the low that was set before that undercut the prior day was here at 192.44. And when this bounced, I was like, I gave it a shot, but then I wasn't confident in it, so I got out and just basically flat. And then I thought, no, I think it needs to go undercut and then rally. And so I was waiting. When it came down here and was so close to this low, I was like, oh, that's going to happen for sure. I'm just going to wait. When it flushes and then comes back up, I'll buy and I'll put my stop in below that low. That didn't happen. And so once again, I find myself chasing Tiffany, who did take this. I think she took this probably on a stair-step break, maybe a 2-minute stair-step break. She didn't tell me exactly how she did it. That was probably it. She probably got in there with a stop under this low, probably, I imagine. I'll have to ask her what she did. But either way, she told me she was in, and I was like, oh no, like I think I might have missed it. And then when it started to go, I decided, oh, forget it. I'm just getting in. I'm just going for it, even though I still felt like it should undercut. So I bought here, stopped there, got risk-free. And as it was doing all this action here, I was very dubious of this. I was like, we had this one that I was like, it's got to get above 195. If it gets above 195 here, then I have some more hope for it. But as it kept fighting underneath here for so long, I just had my doubts, and I ended up selling up another portion somewhere in there stupidly, like just not sticking to the plan. So that's really disappointing, because I could be so much better off right now if I hadn't sold that portion. Either way, winning trade so far. It's working, and I think we just got, this must be the 15-minute higher low. Yeah, we got a 15-minute higher low. Hopefully we get a higher high into the close. We'll see. But either way, that's a really nice rally. Like, this daily candle looks pretty awesome right now. And that's the kind of wick you want to see when you buy a dip. So hopefully it closes this way. We'll see. So that's RTX. The other one I bought was Netflix. I talked about this on my weekend video, that I was waiting for this weekly inside bar to break bull, and it did. Initial target for this is the prior week high, and we're not there yet. So when it broke bull this morning, so first of all, I traded it 2 days ago. If we go down to the 5-minute, as it was flushing these lows and hitting this level, this level here, it came down to flush this level on this day. I bought it, and really I was just like buying this like stair-step break on the 5-minute, and like I didn't hold on to it. I got a little bounce, I got some risk off, and then I ended up not holding it and just selling it for a small profit, thinking like, what am I doing? What I should really be doing is waiting for the actual 2021 top, which is this level here at 70.10. And so I was like, I'm just going to wait for that. I'm just going to wait for that. I'm not going to try to outsmart myself. And stupidly, I should have held, because that basically, that low 2 days ago was the low. So I should have held that position. I didn't. So this morning when we were opening up and it was moving up pretty solidly, you know, we had this gap up in the after hours and they were opening above that. And in the pre-market, we're pushing the highs of this range. I was like, oh my God, this thing's going to go. So right off the open, I bought some. And then if you go to the 1 minute, on this balance here, I bought some more. This is just small size. I'm not like making a killing here. I was just like, this is going to go. I think the bottom might be in. I'm just going to buy some. So I bought 2 small positions in my IRA, and like at this point now, I'm like, at some point we're going to need an hourly higher low, and even a 4-hour higher low. So I want to see what this ends up riding. It's just like it's jets right now. So like who knows where this train's going to stop. Right now it's a really solid rider. It's going to need a higher low. So I'm going to be thinking about first 5-minute oversold, first hourly oversold as places that I want to buy. And I'll just keep adding into my IRA for this bounce if it really gets going. But this will definitely be the first close over daily EMA 12. As you can see here, we've been riding it down this whole way, and like there's only an hour and a half left in the trading day and we're way up here. I don't think this is going to reject today. It's just too strong. So that's super bullish. Daily higher low at some point is going to be on deck, and I'm interested in putting on actual decent size when that happens. For now, I've just got a small position that I'm using as like a, dude, pay attention to this thing. Speaking of that kind of trade, the other one I did was take 2. This was pointed out to me by one of the members of the chart guys. He posted it in the swing trade channel that he was interested in this for like a big turnaround. And you know, normally I wouldn't be interested in a stock like this, but because it's just like in such a solid downtrend. But I saw the pattern on the daily and I was like, that does look really good. I wonder, like, overall this thing is up. What trend is it riding? And so I started to zoom out. I go 1 month. We're not riding the 1 month. But I do see there was a peak back here that we basically have come in and we're testing this whole range from back over here. And I thought, well, what is this riding? Go out further, go to the 3 month. 3 month, that could be a 3 month higher low that's being set with a daily inverse head and shoulders. I kind of like that pattern. And I thought, if that daily pattern is going to play, I'm like way, way, way far away from where my stop needs to be. I'm like almost 9% away. So I just took a really small position with a 9% stop that I'll only lose an acceptable amount of money if this doesn't work. And in the meantime, I'll be looking for this to have follow through and for this trend to continue. You know, I'll be coming down to the 4-hour, looking for 4-hour higher lows to continue, looking for hourly higher lows, thinking about, you know, this is pretty much a terrible spot. So again, it's just a starter. If it goes, great. If it doesn't and it comes back in, I'm looking for a higher low on a smaller time frame to see if there's a good spot to add. I think this is an interesting one. I'm just going to sort of keep my eyes on it. The last one will be the loser, ET. ET did not phone home today. Let's see, this was, yeah, a daily EMA 12 rider. Tested it here, tested it here, tested it here, and bounced. Tested it, barely tested it here. This is a 4-hour higher low, and then rallied, and now we're rolling over a bit. Now this is an energy name, and today energy is not performing that great. It's got a decent bounce now. Yeah, it's sort of in this chop range. I think like the big question is energy going to roll over now that we're seeing a bit of strength today in QQQ? You know, QQQ has done a lot of one-day rallies, so who knows what's going to happen. But either way, I was playing this one for a bounce, and I did a terrible job. Like just straight up honesty, I did a terrible, terrible job trading this. This was a 1 minute downtrend, not even a rider. This is probably a 30-second down. And similar to RTX, I'm watching this and RTX at the same time. And it came, like my level, the last 4-hour higher low was there. I'm expecting it to break that level and then rally out of it. And as it was coming down here, I was looking for some kind of extension. I thought that this extension here on the 1 minute was going to be it. And I took an early entry on this candle, but then the candle closed lower and I ended up stopping out. I stopped myself out basically flat at the low of this candle at like 1848 for that first initial trade. And that was a decent sized loss, which kind of sucks. And then I tried again. So we got a fresh low, which ended up being the low of the morning. You see later it would have gone lower, but ended up being the low of the morning. And I tried here, it bounced, and this is annoying that it keeps drawing stuff. Anyway, it bounced, but I was not able to get risk-free on this bounce up here. I just couldn't get my fills in at the right time. So when it came back in here, I basically had raised my, I was looking for this to show some more strength, like get up to a higher moving average. And the volume here was confusing. Like this is very, what am I supposed to think from these weird wicks? This is just like a low liquidity thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, when it came back in, I had raised my stop to break even. I'm like, I'm not taking any more heat on this one. And it stopped me out there on that second attempt. So there was the first one and the second one. And then it starts to rally again. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And And I decided I'm going to give it one more shot and see if it can get to the 5-minute EMA 12, which is way higher. I'll show you where that was. There. And so when I entered here, my thought was if my stop goes there and I'm entering here, I might have enough room to get risk-free at the 5-minute EMA 12. And then I got not a great fill, and it started to move up, came down, moved up, came down, moved up, came down, and it just kept like wobbling around as it's giving the 5-minute EMA 12 time to catch up. So basically somewhere in here at flat, I just gave up on it and was like, this isn't working. I'm just going to focus on RTX, which was working. And it's a good thing too, because then it would have stopped me out only to then rally into the end of the day. But at that point, I didn't really care anymore. 3 attempts on a stock and 2 of them ending flat, 1 of them with a loss. Disappointing. This is generally like, I find that most of the trades that I enter when I'm entering early, lately they're not working. And so what I'm really looking for is higher lows. Probably my best bet on this trade would have been, like this wasn't a legit higher low because it went higher. It did the higher low and the higher high on the same candle. So maybe somewhere in here would have been the legit higher low. But even then, it didn't really give you a good one. Look at this 1-minute candle. Like the 1 minute opens here, sets a low, sets the high. Like it doesn't give you a spot. It doesn't, at least not for the way I trade. So either way, I think I probably shouldn't have traded this one. I think I should have just like left it alone because it didn't give me what I wanted to see. Whereas if we go back to RTX and look at that one, it legitimately did give a higher low. Like to me, all of this is nonsense. You just ignore all this crap. Then you get a bounce. That's good. Then you come back in. You fail to go lower. So the next candle high that you break is the long. Like this should have been the long right in here, and the stop there. That was the trade. You know, hindsight being what it is, that's what you got to look for. And I didn't. I messed it up. And so I actually have written and created tools to help me see exactly this, and I didn't use them today. So there's a bit of a lesson there for me in why I'm doing this trade review, so that I can recognize what I've been doing wrong and try to fix it. Anyway, that's it for me today. Green overall. Happy for that. And NVIDIA earnings tonight. We'll see what happens.